This is the single rarest toy that I own. This is unbelievably hard to find, and to be quite honest, if I didn't buy this when I was a kid, there's not a chance in hell I would have got this one. This is the Uzay Blue Stars, and it looks like a Hoth Trooper, and it's actually a bootleg figure made in Turkey, known as the King of the Bootlegs, highly knocked off, which is quite interesting, isn't it? A knockoff of a knockoff. These figures sell for ridiculous money, pretty much whatever the collectors are willing to pay. You couldn't really put a price on them. You don't see them in this condition very often. It's not carded, I grant you that. I did buy it carded. Unfortunately, I threw the card in the bin. So a bit of background on this figure. This is obviously a Hoth Stormtrooper from the vintage line, done in blue with a white gun and a blue cape. And this one was released in Turkey in the mid-80s somewhere, and they were known as Uzay, the figure line. They have some fantastic box art. In particular, I think it's there's a Death Star thing with a calculator on there. It's hilarious when you see the box. This guy's card had these stood in some orange sherbet, which I always thought, see, back in the day we didn't have videos and you couldn't go to the cinema to see these once they were out, and I couldn't really remember if these guys were in the film or not when I was little, and I always thought this guy was one of the Bespin troops or something that put a hand in the chamber. I don't know what was going through my head, but on the box he's surrounded by orange sherbet, and I just thought that was the gas from the Bespin chamber. Like I say, the card went long time ago. Now, I got this from Turkey. I was in Turkey in 1987, I think it was. I think I was 9. And I was on holiday. My dad was working over there. I went to see him for a few weeks, and we went to this toy store, and I got this guy. I got they did a regular Hoth Trooper that had a little bit of colour differences, and I also got an MTV 7, I think it is, the thing with the wheels, that was different. It has white plastic. I've still got the vehicle, I've still got this guy, but I don't have the Hoth Trooper. Don't know what happened to him, but amazingly this guy survived. Now, as you can see, he's got a white gun, which is pretty much a recast of the original Hoth Trooper gun. He even has the cape, which, knowing how fragile these capes are, and it's tough enough to find one on a Hoth Trooper, I'm just stunned that this ever survived. Just absolutely stunned. To be honest, I didn't really think much of it at the time, and then it wasn't until years and years later I was talking to a fellow Star Wars collector, and I was on about my blue Stormtrooper. And he said, "Do you actually know what that is?" And he sent me some links, and I was absolutely amazed at how rare and expensive these are now. I guess it's the cult status of it's a Stormtrooper, it's blue. Now, these are heavily knocked off, and to be honest, you're probably all thinking this is a knockoff, isn't it, or a custom or something, but I guarantee you it's not. It's the genuine article, and I will go through some of the differences with a regular Hoth Trooper just to sort of highlight what you need to look for if you are ever lucky enough to find one of these. But we're talking massive money to get one of these. Carded, you're talking in the thousands. These ones quite a few hundred, and it's just a figure, so it's just a bit daft to pay that kind of money, especially for a bootleg, but it's a nice bootleg. So if we start with a look at his gun then. Now this just looks like a regular Hoth Trooper gun, and there are some subtle differences. If we look at this one, this is an original, it's not a knockoff or anything. You'll be able to see there's around these little lines here, there's a sort of flat bit that goes around the edge. It's the same there, and it's the same on this piece. But if we look at the Uzay one, it doesn't have that, it's just lines across, and that's it. And also, if we look at the top little barrel there, you can see that bit's quite large. It's a different size on this one. And the end of the barrel's flat, where this one's got a little bobble. And also that notch is a little bit different in size. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's a definite line going across there, just on that bit there, which is not really present on this one. It is there, but it's not as defined as on the original gun. So just having this alone is quite exciting, because you do see these guys pop up on eBay and they're in scruffy condition. They don't have the accessories, but this one is in really nice condition for what it is. So that's the gun. It's cast in white plastic. It's not painted or anything. That is the genuine article. We're not talking knockoffs or anything. I mean, this is a real gun as well, and you can sort of pick out there is slight differences in the size and some of the moulding. I'm not sure how they made these, whether they just cast that and made a mess of it, or they tried to redo it themselves. No idea. But that's the differences in the gun. So let's take a look at the cape next. Now you can see there is a little bit of a tear there. That side's not too bad, so I'm going to very carefully get this off here, because I do not want to break this, because the chance of me getting another original one is ridiculous. This is very thin vinyl. You can pretty much see through it. Let's get an original one to compare it. Let's get this guy's one here. So I'm not an expert on these capes, but we'll just compare these two that I've got. Now that one's got the circles top and bottom, and then there's the line. This one is just a flat piece, and it's a lot thinner. Never really noticed that before, but that is definitely a lot thinner. Size wise, looks to be about the same. It's not an exact match, but it's pretty close. I'd say this one's a little bit more curved. This one's got some more straighter edges on it. So that's the cape. Like I say, very thin, doesn't have the holes in. A little bit more curved than the regular Stormtrooper one. So onto the figure, and first of all we can see his legs stand slightly wider than the regular Stormtrooper I've got here. This one is if I can see it, it's a Hong Kong version. That's on that leg there. And if we look at this guy, his legs are completely blank. There is no writing on there whatsoever. And what else have we got difference wise? Not sure how well this will show up, but you can sort of see on there, these are quite well defined creases in the legs. These are a little bit shallower, so it's quite a possibility that they got one of these and cast it from that and sanded that bit off possibly. Not really sure how they made it. Obviously paint wise it's totally different. This is made of blue plastic, this isn't dyed or painted or anything. And you can see the paint apps, the black's totally different, and we've got some badly painted orange, and we've got yellow on the sides, we've got a bit of yellow on there, we've got some orange on his arm. On the front we've got green and orange, and you can see where they missed the spot there and put a bit of extra paint on. The eyes are particularly badly done. You can see there, this is more like the Hoth Trooper with just the visor rather than the two separate eyes, which is a variation on this figure anyway, so it's quite possible that's what they used there. What else have we got? We don't have the black bits on there. Down here we've got black painting on this one, we've got nothing on the Uzay. The Uzay Hoth Trooper actually had that bit white and that bit black, it was reversed. I definitely remember that from when I was a kid. And the most notable difference though, if we look at the footholes On the regular Star Wars figures, they're like a hexagon shape, but on the Uzay, they're just a circle. So that's a good way of telling if someone's trying to fob you off with a painted stormtrooper or dyed or whatever. Another thing to note on this figure, you could probably pick this out, but the glue has sort of seeped out and it's gone a funny green colour, and you can see that all the way around the figure. It's on both sides, around the top of his head. And I can't remember if that was like that all the time or if it's just gone like that over the years. I'm not sure. I've had this a very, very long time. See a little bit more paint in there. The quality of it's not bad for a knockoff. It doesn't feel quite the same, but it's very close. It's not like a pound shop toy or anything. It's certainly a well done piece. They did have in Turkey, they had the genuine Star Wars figures as well. And I know I got a Death Star gunner there, and Bosk was from there. But these were cheaper. I think this was probably around £1 or £1.50 or something, which is quite a good investment, really. And like I say, I'm amazed that this one stayed in such good condition over the years without me having the slightest clue of what it was or that it was going to be worth anything. But I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep this one forever. Not at any price. It's just too hard to come by something like this. This is a once in a lifetime.